Hi. Cambodia, the land of Angkor Wat, an ancient empire and an increasingly notorious new title, the beating heart of Southeast Asia's online scam industry. In the past few years, Cambodia has transformed from a growing tourist favourite to one of the world's most significant hubs for online fraud. Investment scams, romance scams, insiders call it pig butchering. And this is where victims are groomed online over weeks or months, tricked into thinking they're in a romantic relationship or a lucrative investment, only to be financially slaughtered in the end. And it's not just small-time crooks running these schemes. We're talking about large-scale, industrial-scale operations with US billions of dollars moving through shadowy networks. And at the centre of it all, an influential Cambodian company, WayOne. We'll tell you more about them later. A decade ago, probably even 5 years ago, Cambodia wasn't on anyone's radar for industrial-scale cybercrimes. But as the most affected countries, especially China and Thailand, started cracking down on fraud syndicates, many of these sinister outfits just shifted, in many cases just across the border into Cambodia. Cambodia with ineffective regulation, widespread corruption and a strategic location became the perfect base. Now, these scam compounds are often masquerading as special economic zones or call centres or casinos even. In reality, they're fortified complexes, sometimes guarded by miniature militia and high security. Inside, hundreds of workers, some voluntary but mostly trafficked, are given scripts and digital tools to swindle victims worldwide. And the scams aren't small change. The estimates suggest that Southeast Asia's cyber fraud industry is siphoning tens of billions, that's US dollars, from victims annually. And Cambodia is punching well above its weight in this grim economy. And the recent skirmishes on the Thai-Cambodian border, appearing to be over border locations and ancient temples, is really about wealthy and corrupt Cambodian business and political leaders hanging on and continuing to evolve the highly lucrative online scam industry within their borders. Now, it's easy to focus on the money, and we will, but the human cost is staggering. Many of the workers inside these scam centres aren't criminals at all. They're victims too. Trafficked from countries like China, Vietnam, Malaysia, Africa, and even as far as Africa, as well as from some Western countries as well. They're promised legitimate jobs, only to have their passports stolen and be forced into criminal work. The survivor testimonies describe 16-hour shifts, beatings and electrocution for missing quotas and being sold between compounds like commodities. And yet for every worker freed in police raids, thousands more remain trapped. In some cases, family and friends end up paying extortionate ransoms to free their loved ones. And just another profit centre for these scam centres. Bloomberg reports that Cambodia has become the major driver in Southeast Asia's transformation into the world's fastest growing cyber fraud hub. And at the heart of this machinery is WayOne, a Cambodian communications conglomerate. Now, on the surface, WayOne provides financial and messaging services, basically communications company. But Bloomberg's investigation revealed something much darker. The company has laundered at least $4 billion US for criminal clients, including North Korean hacker groups. As Bloomberg puts it, WayOne operates like an Amazon for criminals, a central marketplace connecting scam operators with the services they need to move and launder money. Such is their infamy that the big sign adorning the main building in Phnom Penh has now been removed earlier this year. Now, this is sophisticated platform-based crime, often using cryptocurrency, shell companies and encrypted apps to stay ahead of law enforcement. WayOne has constructed the perfect cyber ecosystem for a borderless scam network to flourish. It's impossible to talk about Cambodia's scam economy without mentioning the role of powerful Cambodian elites. Sometimes family dynasties, sometimes political dynasties, no names. International watchdogs, journalists and NGOs have long pointed to the involvement, either directly or by willful blindness, of central Cambodian politicians and influential families. In a country ranked near the bottom globally for corruption perception, few believe operations of this scale could thrive without at least tacit protection from people in high places. International pressure, journalist exposés and detailed NGO reports have exposed some of the underbelly of these operations over the past decade, with greater intensity recently, but the numbers of these scammers, scam compounds and scam victims continues to grow. WayOne's rise, resilience and seeming resistance to criticism persists despite growing international scrutiny. Well, here's the paradox. Scams and illicit finance aren't part of Cambodia's official GDP, but they absolutely distort the real economy. Billions in dirty money are flowing through real estate, casinos and luxury imports. Phnom Penh's skyline is littered with high-end condos that sit empty. Some, maybe most, purchased as safe havens for laundered funds. And this inflates property prices, making housing unaffordable for ordinary Cambodians. Billions more disappeared into cryptocurrency wallets and is then salvaged in another country, difficult if not impossible to trace. Astonishingly, the estimates of the size of the scam industry in Cambodia are in the order of 40 to 60% of the country's entire GDP last year. I know that sounds amazing, but we're talking about numerous reliable sources who have done their homework. Now, even if it was half or quarter of these percentages, it would still be a massive interrupter to the Cambodian economy, especially when the proceeds are going into the pockets of so few. Meanwhile, the association of Cambodia with cybercrime damages its reputation internationally. Legitimate foreign investment risks drying up, and the Cambodian people, who have surely suffered enough over the last century, continue to live in perpetual distress, many of them simply ignorant about what's going on behind those fortified walls. The UN, Interpol and human rights organisations have sounded the alarm, let alone hundreds of articles, feature reports and YouTube videos telling harrowing stories. Some governments have issued travel advisories, warning citizens about human trafficking risks in Cambodia's so-called special economic zones. And China, once a silent partner in Cambodia's rapid development, is turning up the heat as well, pressuring Phnom Penh to crack down at least on the scams that target Chinese citizens. But critics argue that these crackdowns are more about optics than systematic change. Bottom line, the scam centres continue to flourish. For Cambodia, the road forward is a choice between reform or reputation collapse. Without decisive action, it risks being remembered less for its temples and culture and more for its role in one of the 21st century's largest criminal enterprises. Cambodians ultimately have the choice if they want their country's nickname of Scambodia to stick or be remembered instead for its culture, its ancient temples and tourism opportunities. For victims, both the scammed and the trafficked, justice is slow or in most cases non-existent. And as long as companies like WayOne remain central players and the levers of civil control are in the hands of a few powerful families, the flow of illicit money will continue. The stakes are just too high. The rewards are calculated in billions of US dollars. The risks so far seem few in comparison. In the end, Cambodia's online scam boom is more than just a crime story. It's a story about power, complicity, and a digital financial system that allows billions to vanish into the shadows. and into powerful people's pockets. The lives of scammers and the scammed are often ruined, some profoundly. And as you watch this, there is an estimated 120 to 150,000 scammers in Cambodia hard at work, and you're the target.